What up everyone, it's your man XMan87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Target exclusive Marvel Legends 85 year celebration series Warbird review. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's go! Upon the cancellation of her original title, which ran 23 issues, Ms. Marvel joined Marvel's premier super team, the Avengers, and served them with distinction for a number of issues. However, in a pregnancy storyline that generated considerable controversy, her character was literally exiled to limbo by Marvel writers in Avengers issue number 200. After that, Carol Danvers finally escaped from limbo, only to have a fateful encounter with the female mutant known as Rogue, who stole Carol's Ms. Marvel powers as well as her memory. Carol's memories were restored by Professor X, but she had permanently lost the emotions connected with them. Now with no superpowers, Carol joined the Professor's X-Men, and her adventures with the X-Men led her to being captured by an alien race that inadvertently unlocked the full potential of her unique Kree/human genetic configuration, causing her to gain godlike power as Binary. As a cosmically powered Binary, Carol journeyed the galaxy with the Starjammers for many years. After a fateful conflict in outer space, Carol's cosmic link to her Binary powers was severed and she returned to Earth, but with her original Ms. Marvel powers fully restored and augmented by having once been Binary. She changed her codename to Warbird and rejoined the Avengers, having forgiven them for abandoning her to limbo during her first stint with the team. She eventually went back to the Ms. Marvel moniker before taking on the mantle of Captain Marvel. Alright, this figure here is freaking fantastic. I want to start off by saying that. Is it perfect? No. It has its flaws, and I'll get into it because I like to analyze the figure. I like to critique it as much as I like to praise it, and I just gotta say, it's just so damn good. It reminds me of the DC Icons female figures. It's got the double diaphragm joint, the butterfly joints, just like the DC Icons, and I love the way DC Icons structured their figures. Like, their female figures I felt like had the best proportions, but this figure just reminds me of that when I have it in hand. But I'm gonna say it's probably better than DC Icons. And the proportions here are great. I gotta say, the chest is pretty busty and she's got some nice curves at the hips. The thighs, all that. She's got those super heroine curvy muscular features, and I really dig it. One thing that's on the downside is the scale, you know. Like I said, I gave up with Marvel Legends scaling, but I still bring it up because I know a lot of you guys care. I don't have the Ms. Marvel on the Moonstone body anymore because I'm more of the out with the old, in with the new kind of collector, as I'm not a completist anymore. If you want to see the best comparisons, I recommend watching Articulation Prime. I think that dude owns like every Marvel Legends figure ever made, so you know, so don't rely on me when it comes to old and new comparisons. Still, that figure was on the Moonstone body, so I'm just grabbing Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, on the Moonstone body here, and as you can see, she's a lot taller. And Carol Danvers is a tall woman. She's supposed to be 6 feet tall. Like, this is short for her. Even this is kind of short for her. You know, if you're looking at 6 feet, she should have been Lady Mandarin's height. They're very inconsistent with the scale this year, especially Lalandra, who's, you know, she's a tall female, just like Carol Danvers. She's supposed to be 6 feet tall. You know, Psylocke is 5'11", but in armor makes sense for her to be taller. But unless they're readjusting the scale, making them shorter and trying to line up, I don't know. I don't know their plan, but, you know, I just gotta compare what's in front of me right now, and it's still shorter. Alright, this is a sweet looking head sculpt. You can see she means business, man. Like, she looks like she's really gonna beat you up, and I like it. I like the thin domino mask. It's very Black Cat like, but it reminds me of Roberto De La Torre's art of Ms. Marvel, so I do like it a lot. And the hair, I know a lot of people were saying that the hair needed a wash when this was first revealed, but trust me, it's there. She's got some blonde streaks. You can't really tell on camera, but in hand, it's definitely there. Let me see if I could dim my camera down a bit so you could see a little bit better. As you can see, you know, there are some defined streaks going through the hair, and it's nice and flowy too. I really like that. It's a little swept off to the side, which should give you some better range when looking up because she's got the disc hinge, but you know, not that far. But I'll get into articulation later. I do like the neck seam right here. There is a seam at the neck. That is a neat touch. Keep that seam in mind. I'll touch on that later. So you can see the torso design of the costume, the lightning bolt. It looks so freaking nice. I love that they added the metallic gold, because when Hasbro does metallic gold finishes with their paint, it looks so good. I hate the plastic molding, but when they do gold metallic paint, it just looks so beautiful. It shimmers, it's nice and reflective, and as you can see, it goes down. Even if you're going to bend the figure back all the way, the paint continues, and I love that. It is a new sash, by the way. It's a new sculpt. I do like it. The long sleeves right here, there is no seam right there. It's just painted. I don't know why. It has a, maybe because it's a triangular shape right there. It's not straight. That they didn't want to do it because no one really has that kind of angle-like long sleeve design like she does, so it's really not gonna fit any other character. The rest that I know have them straight, so that's probably why they did it this way. They sculpted the thigh highs. That is freaking awesome. So now I do question the engineering here, because I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Why do we have a thigh cut right there at the thigh high? It should have been hidden right here at the seams. Yeah, that could have been a nice hidden joint there. That's a missed opportunity. I don't understand why they did it. Yeah, it's an odd shape. They didn't sculpt it right. If they sculpted it right, they could have definitely hidden the thigh swivel behind the thigh high. But missed opportunity there to make everything blend in. But she's got a pretty strong superheroine muscular build, you know. She is a powerhouse, so she could have been a little bit bigger, you know. Like I said before, she could have been a little bit bigger. Do I think she should have been Power Princess big? No, you know what I mean? This would fit like your Brunilda, like the Valkyries. That kind of build fits that. But this, like Elektra, Psylocke, Silver Sable. Oh my god, I'm dreaming of a Silver Sable on this buck already. Yeah, this is fine. I do notice there's some slight skin texturing on the legs. Huh. That's interesting. Everything else is solid black. And I do wish the sash was kind of keyed in like the Iron Fist. So it would have been nice if they keyed it in right there. So that way it's not shifting all over the place, because it can get annoying. But at the same time, it kind of benefits the posing game, you know, when you want to pose her in dynamic flights. So I can't be too mad at that, and I'm not going to take a point or half a point off of that. If anything, you could tighten it by pulling it down so it could stay into place a little bit like that. Now for accessories, she comes with an alternate head, so it has a different hairstyle, it has a different domino mask, which is much thicker, different expression altogether as she has her mouth slightly open. The domino mask has this kind of like gray shading, almost a comic cell shading. It's very dark, very subtle. But it's like one line going this way down and the other line going this way down. I hope it comes off camera. If not, I'm going to try to get more light in here to see if you can see it. Looks so good. It reminds me so much of Terry Dodson, and I'll have a reference pic so you can see what I'm talking about. It is so nice. Now, the one thing I wish she had was a third head that had the all-white pupils, like the Michael Turner head style and Frank Cho even. Those had the all-white pupils, and they look so nice. So I really wish we had that, because there hasn't been a 6-inch Marvel Legends Miss Marvel with that all-white pupils look. Now, the Marvel Universe 3 3/4 line had a Miss Marvel with the all-white pupils, so I kind of wish we had that here. But this looks so good. I really like it. And again, you get those nice blonde streaks throughout the hair. The rest of the accessories are those same twirly flame effects that we get 100 times, and the open splayed out hands. Surprise, surprise, sugar. Oh shit! Now for articulation, as I pointed out before, this default head, because of the windswept hair, will allow you to get some movement to look up, but not much. Another thing to point out here, because of that seam, if I pull back any further, it starts to separate. So as you can see, yeah, just be careful. I don't think it looks like it's gonna break or anything like that. I'm not too worried about it, but just in case, you never know. The alternate head, you're really not gonna get any kind of up movement from this, which is kind of sad, you know what I mean? Because I do want her looking up in some cool flight poses, so it's just really not gonna happen. It's very limited on this one right here. Oh shoot, you know what I just noticed? It has that same comic gray shading as the thick domino mask does. Oh snap, it's very subtle. Yeah, it starts at like this point and ends right there, and it's throughout and ends on the opposite end. Oh snap, I just realized that. That is dope, I like that. Anyway, her head looks a good amount down, left, right, and you get some head tilt there. The arms move upward and outward about that far, so, you know, higher than a straight T pose. I'm always fine with that. It moves down. The butterfly joints are ridiculously good. These are some really, really good butterfly joints. I mean, they move that far back and that far forward. You know, you could bring her hands together. That is really nice. Let me move her hair off to the side, but as you can see, that is some good rocking motion back and forth. This female buck already has better butterfly joints than some of the male bucks do. And so, you know, you could swing her arms around. You got the bicep swivel there. And you got the double jointed pinless elbows. Great range right there. And you got the wrist swivel and the wrist hinge. Utilizing the double diaphragm joint all the way. She moves about that far forward and that far back. Oh, man. Yo, I could never go back to this after this. There's just no freaking way. Look at this. Who's going to want to go back to this? This now has to be mandatory going forward. No excuses. Now, one important thing to bring up is that, unfortunately, we could have gotten a lot more range than this because they did the same thing with this that they did with the Black Widow figure that I told y'all I hated. And they used that squared out peg on a round socket. So, like, it's not going to bend over more as it should. And that's the problem. I've been saying it for a while now, is that Hasbro does not know how to properly do ball joints. I'm sure I'm not the only one who says that too. But it just goes to show that they really don't know how to do it. And just to bring out an example, this is what I mean by a squared out peg. Yeah, I got an extra one, and I'm going to Dremel this out. This is what I mean, man. And it's going through a round socket. As you can see, it's circular. This is squared out. They're literally robbing us from more articulation. And at the bottom right there, you can see the barbell. It's a round ball peg at the bottom. So why isn't it at the top? It should be ball, bar, ball. Try saying that 3 times fast. Ball, ball, ball. And it goes for the side-to-side movement too. Like, she moves really good side to side. But if it was a ball joint, we would get a lot more range than that. And of course, it swivels and it also rocks around. Again, I'm not saying it's bad at all. This is good. I'm just saying it could be so much better. Surprisingly, she does not have drop down legs. Not that she needs it, but I thought they would. Anyway, her legs spread that far apart. I wish she could get a full split. And she kicks up really high though, and kicks about that far back, so you get somewhat of a frontward split. Her legs rock around. You got the thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees, no heel to the marvelous butt, and then you have the ankles that move up, down, and the all-around ankle pivoting. They could have used toe joints on this one, but again, like the drop-down legs, it's not needed, but it would be nice to see. Here's the then and now comparison of Miss Marvel. We have Carol Danvers next to Kamala Khan, and when I think of Miss Marvel, I think of Carol Danvers in this costume. I don't think of Kamala Khan. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really like the Kamala Khan character. I think she's great, but my definitive Miss Marvel will always be this Carol Danvers depiction right here. Here is Miss Marvel next to Rogue in various attires. A very important comparison here. These two fought each other so many times. In this Warbird costume, she's battled Rogue in all these costumes, especially the Brotherhood one that's coming in the Destiny 2 pack. But the 90s Jim Lee Rogue attire was only seen in a trading card against her, but never in the comics from what I remember. They have such an illustrious, rich history together in Marvel Comics that sometimes gets tragically oversighted. As a huge Miss Marvel and Rogue fan, my favorite fights of theirs is of them fighting each other. Here is a Carol Danvers comparison in different attires and personas. Warbird, Binary, and Captain Marvel. You'll catch me saying both Warbird and Miss Marvel in this video, but she was called both, so you know what I mean. Not to get confused with the other Marvel character named Warbird of the Shi'ar Empire, but the big one missing here is her original costume. I need that, and it better include a Dark Avengers Moonstone Miss Marvel head. Lastly, here is the Heroic Age New Avengers team of Miss Marvel, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, and The Thing. I was really a fan of this small roster. I enjoyed the Heroic Age a lot. And now to wrap things up, my final rating is a 9.5 out of 10. I'll be real with you, I know this articulation scheme should have been introduced 5 to 6 years ago for the females in the line, as they stood outdated forever, but it's a huge sigh of relief to finally have this style for the blank female bodies going after years of dealing with no POA progress for them. There's just no way you'd want to go back to the old style after you've had this in hand. If this is their new standard blank female bug going forward, then it's the best one they've ever done. Not a lot of paint work going on, but the little that is applied is executed so well that it makes a difference as it stands out on its own. The shiny gold emblem, the face print decal, the subtle comic cell shading on the domino mask, and the highlighted definition on the hair. It's a little light on the accessories department for an eventful annual program line, which is why it could have benefited from including a tertiary head with the domino mask having the all-white pupils. You know, like the back of the packaging featuring Ed McGuinness's art. I know the figures are always made before they select the packaging art most of the time, but just saying, they should try to include whatever is featured on the packaging onto the figure as well. Accessory pack Hasbro, come on, this is an easy one to include here. Would have been nice to see some cosmic beam effects. We need more beaming effects in the line. I really love this figure. The face alone blows the last one away. She's so nice I bought her twice. One to put with my Avengers and the other in my X-Men display. Overall, she's a strong top 10 contender and will be a top 3 to 5 of the best Marvel Legends female figures this year. It sucks that she's a Target exclusive yet again, but if you can get your hands on this one, then grab it if you need her for the collection. She feels like an instant classic already on the shelf. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this new 85 years Warbird figure? Which version of her do you want to see next? And would you like to see her comic Captain Marvel costume updated? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another Marvel Legends review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.